Okay, we'll continue oral communications, and Adam Sands.
Thank you, council members, for allowing me to speak tonight. I'm here to speak on behalf of Neighborhood Housing Services, Orange County. We are a HUD-approved community organization dedicated to enhancing the quality of life for working families. We expand housing opportunities. We promote sound financial management, financial education courses, and we encourage civic engagement. And recently, we have launched a campaign against foreclosure rescue scams. Some of you may be aware that in Garden Grove and throughout Orange County, there's a significant problem with illegal fraudsters. I suppose that's redundant, but who set up shop as fly-by-night operations, giving people false promises and collecting upfront fees for supposed foreclosure prevention counseling, and in return, these individuals get absolutely nothing in return. So we have launched a campaign against said scams, and we will be utilizing technology to give distressed homeowners effective options for foreclosure prevention. And one of our outreach methods is to use reverse 911 phone technology. So the moment that a homeowner goes into default and that information becomes public, we send a phone call message out informing the homeowner that there are effective foreclosure prevention options through Neighborhood Housing Services, and also just letting them know that they should be aware of predatory scammers. We've also created a website that homeowners can conveniently and easily submit loan modification applications to expedite the foreclosure prevention process. Lastly, we've launched a task force to guide our campaign, and the task force consists of a variety of members, including the offices of Congressman Ken Calvert, Congresswoman Loretta Sanchez, and other community leaders throughout Orange County. And we will also be using some grassroots campaign methods to get the word out there and alert distressed homeowners that they do have effective, free, HUD-approved foreclosure options, foreclosure prevention options at their services. And looking forward, we would greatly appreciate hopefully some partnerships to work with the City of Garden Grove. Perhaps you could include our foreclosure prevention workshops and bulletins or on your website and so forth. And I went ahead and left a foreclosure workshop calendar outside on the resource table. But anyway, thank you so much for allowing me to speak tonight, and look forward to perhaps working with the city in the future to promote free HUD-approved foreclosure counseling. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Rich Smith.
Hi, Council. My name is Rich Smith. I'm a resident of Garden Grove since 1979 at Brookdale Complex. This is off of Yawkey, and it's south of Garden Grove Boulevard. As you know, Garden Grove is really increased as far as on the residents, and there's a safety issue on Yawkey going down, coming off of our complex. We're south of Garden Grove Boulevard, and going from Garden Grove Boulevard to Trask, we would like to have a four-way stop sign installed. Oakdale is going east, and Columbus is going right, and it's, again, very, very hard to exit. Since, again, 79, the traffic is dramatically increased, and it's hard to exit off of Oakdale Drive. If you're going south of Trask, there are two stop signs going from Trask to Westminster, yet there isn't as high a density housing. But again, in our area, as the development is increased, there's very, again, high density housing. I believe this has been brought up to the traffic engineer, Candelaria, and I hope this goes through. I'm with Lorenzo. He's on the board, too. I think he just stepped out, and he wishes the same. Again, very hard to get out. It's numerous times. It's been numerous times we've almost been nabbed as far as accidents, and so this is just my statement that I hope the four-way stop gets put in and gets approved when the traffic engineer, Candelaria, brings it up. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Charles Mitchell.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, and staff. We've all been reading in the newspapers and watching on the news about the lack of support for the public from city services in New York and other eastern cities when they were hit with that terrible blizzard. People were stranded for long periods of time. It resulted in at least 2 deaths because emergency services were not able to reach people in need. It's tragic when things like this occur. It's even worse when they don't get the support they expect from their cities. I'm glad to say that in New York, the snow falls very heavily, but here in Southern California, it doesn't. And although we had a lot of rain, we did suffer some problems with mudslides and things like that. But our service department in Garden Grove is exceptional. There is an area on Westminster Boulevard just east, about 300 yards from the intersection of Newland. In the number 2 lane, the nearest one to the curb, there is a series of potholes that develops every time it rains. There's about 6 or 8 of them in a row. And it gets pretty bad along there when it's raining. However, the last couple of times we've had storms, I have noticed that immediately after the rain has stopped, our Public Works Department has been out there and patched up those potholes. I think it's commendable that they get right on it as soon as it happens. Also, I noticed the other night when I looked out my window that it was awfully dark on our street. The street light right across from where we live had gone out. Well, the next day I called Public Works, and they told me, well, yes, Edison is supposed to take care of it, and they gave me the phone number for Edison. And I'm happy to report that within 2 days, that street light was back in order. Again, commendations are in order for our Public Works Department. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'll close our communications at this time. And if there are no comments, we'll go to written communications, 3A.
Mr. Mayor, 3A is a request from the Garden Grove Community Foundation and the Garden Grove Chamber of Commerce for use of the Willowick Golf Course for their annual Golf Classic on Wednesday, May 11th, 2011.
Okay, anyone have any questions? I'd move to sponsor that and to allow them the use of the golf course.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Call for the vote.
Motion received, 4 yes votes.
Okay, 3B.
3B is a request from the Garden Grove Community Foundation requesting an appointment of a city council member to serve a 2-year term on the foundation board. Bruce Broadwater is just completing a 2-year term, and Mayor Pro Tem Steve Jones is serving is in the middle of his 2-year term.
I would nominate again Councilmember Broadwater.
I'll second. Okay. Call for the vote.
Motion received, 3
Oh, wait
yes
a minute,
votes.
wait a minute, wait a minute.
Yeah. It doesn't matter what color, you still got it.
Are you going to change your vote?
Okay, are you trying to change that, or do you want to advise the
Motion
clerk?
received, 4 yes votes.
All right.
Okay.
I nominate Mr. Jones.
Well, I'm already in the middle of a term.
Oh, I thought we had to say
It's
both.
yours,
I thought we
yeah.
said both.
Just the one. Just so, yeah, sorry about that.
Okay, I'd like to recess the council and go to the agency.
Ms. Baylor, will you please call roll?
Member Dalton?
Here?
Member Doe?
Here.
Member Jones?
Here.
Vice Chair Wynne? Chair Broadwater?
Here. Okay, we've had no closed session. There is no closed session item for this evening for the agency. We've had oral communications. Let's go to consent items. We have one. Minutes.
Move the item.
We have a motion. We have a motion for minutes, guys.
Okay.
Second. Third.
Call for the vote.
Motion received, 4 yes votes.
We have no public hearings. We have no items for consideration. Matters from agency members and director. Would anybody like to speak up and say anything? How fast I run a meeting or anything like that? Adjournment. We adjourned to the, was it the 24th or the 25th?
25th.
25th.
Okay, we'll reconvene the council meeting and go to consent items. Yes, Mr. Jones.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I have a business relationship with an applicant involved, so I'm going to pull 4D and 4E and recuse myself, and also the closed session item 10A later that pertains, but I'll move the balance. Second.
Okay, have a motion, a second, call for the vote.
Motion received, 4 yes votes.
Which ones did he pull?
4D and 4E.
I move 4D and 4E.
Have a motion, a second, call for the vote.
Motion received, 3 yes votes.
Okay, we go to 8, ordinance presented for second reading.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, and that's 8A, which is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Garden Grove adopting an amended development agreement between the City of Garden Grove and Cynthia Circle Development LP for the property located at the end of Cynthia Circle cul-de-sac on the east side of Euclid Street, north of Westminster Avenue, at 11031 Cynthia Circle, Garden Grove, parcel number 100-391-22.
I'd like to move approval of the second reading.
Second.
Okay, motion, second, call for the vote.
Motion received, 4 yes votes.
8B,
8B is ordinance number 2788, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Garden Grove adopting a negative declaration and approving amendment number A-15710, an amendment to Title IX of the Garden Grove Municipal Code relating to emergency shelters, transitional housing, and supportive housing.
Move the issue.
have a motion, a second, call for the vote.
Motion received, 4 yes votes.
And now we go to a closed session item.
I don't think we can do that, can we? Want to check with our lawyer?
Can the council move to closed session after completing item number 9, which we still have one more item on the agenda? Yes, we've got a closed session
We're
scheduled.
going to have one person recuse themselves. That cuts it down to 3 people.
We will have 3 people, so we'll have a majority of the quorum available to consider the matter. So three members of the city council can go into closed session.
You're positive?
Yes.
Okay, so prior to going to closed session, is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak on this? Okay, seeing none, we'll go into closed session at this point.
Do you want to complete the agenda?
Yeah,
and
we
then
wanted
go
to
into
do
closed
matters.
session? We can
Oh, I'm
do
sorry,
matters.
okay, matters.
Yeah, let's do it all.
Yeah, do you have any matters?
No.
Okay, no. Okay. Well, I guess since we probably won't have most of the people here when we come back, I'm going to adjourn the meeting tonight in memory of 2 people that have passed away recently. Manny Nunez suffered a major heart attack on New Year's Day and passed away this past Saturday, January 8th, surrounded by his loved ones. In 1975, he and his wife, Jan, and their 2 daughters, Jennifer and Tina, moved to Garden Grove. Manny was appointed as the city's community development director in 1978, and also from 1979 to 1980, he worked as a project director for special planning studies and city design. Both his daughters represented the city as Miss Garden Grove. Tina in 1992 and Jennifer in 1993. He and his family supported the scholarship pageant ever since. Manny has also served the Garden Grove community as a member of the City Planning Commission and General Plan Advisory Committee. He was a founding board member on the Community Foundation and has continuously served on this board until his passing. The memorial service will be held on Tuesday, January 18th at 10 a.m. at St. Columban Church in Garden Grove. The other person that I'd like to adjourn the meeting in memory of is Nancy Bowen, who was a record specialist and worked for the Garden Grove Police Department since 1992. Nancy passed away after a battle with cancer. She began her Garden Grove career as a public works specialist in October 1992 and became one of the go-to sources for record specialists, officers, and detectives. Nancy honed her skills and was rewarded with a promotion to warrant specialist in 1997 and to shift supervisor in 1999 before resigning and moving to Eugene, Oregon in March of 2002. Fortunately, in May 2000, the call back to Orange County was too strong, and Nancy returned to the Garden Grove Police Department as a record specialist. Since returning, she strived to streamline operations not only within the records division, but also within the department as it relates to records. She took the leadership role of initiating and coordinating the implementation of online police report forms. This project led to a more efficient method of completing reports through computers and a more legible and professional-looking end product. The memorial service will be held at the Community Meeting Center Friday, January 14th here at noon. I worked with Nancy for many years at the police department, and she was really a wonderful person. She developed a very aggressive type of cancer, and once she was diagnosed with it, it took its toll rather quickly. But she was always a great employee, always very pro-police and the department, and our heartfelt prayers and our sympathy go to her family, as Manny's family, too. So we'll now adjourn to the closed session. Are there any students here that have papers that have to be signed? You know what? Why don't you guys come up here real quick, and before we go to closed session, we'll get those done.